All right. So last week we talked about silence and the importance of silence in hearing uh, what is um, going on inside of us and hearing our voice in our heart. And so this week we're going to talk about a little bit about surrender, but mostly about trust, because without trust, there's no hope of surrender. So, uh, as we're moving down this path of understanding how powerful and how creative we are in the birthing forth of our life expression, we uh, we become more and more aware that we're an awareness and we're not all of our thoughts, we're not our past experiences, we're not um, all of the concepts we've been taught. Those are overlays over the top of our pure and perfect, powerful, aware, loving awareness. And our journey is to move back into our loving awareness so that we can generate life energy more and more for our own selves and our own life expression, but to elevate those around us and um, as a collective on this planet, elevate the energy so that more people are living in a state of hope and peace and love and joy and fulfillment. So, so what is trust anyway? Um, Trust, if you look it up in the dictionary, trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, and strength of someone or something. In other words, we have faith in, we have confidence in, and we believe in this, the power of someone or something to perform, to be the same. Uh, so trusting, it's a huge one to overcome and to reprogram, because we've been taught from early on in our lives to not trust. We've been taught fear instead. And so fear and distrust becomes our mode of operandi instead of trust. And I'm not talking about, because you always get this, you can't just trust people. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about learning to trust in the solid knowing within your soul of who you are, of that what you hear is true, and learning to trust in the power and beauty of your life expression and your ability to walk that out, and that we're co-creating our lives with divine light, the universe, God, however you want to name it. It is an all loving, all encompassing energy. So it's trusting that as we are moving through our life, that we're being moved along, not by ourselves, right? So we've been taught through family and experiences, and even religion is a great one. If you don't perform, bad things are going to happen. If we don't do the right thing, then the wrong thing is going to happen, and we have to work out our life. And we don't. It's enough work to participate in creating it without all of this heaviness around it. So um, we love and trust. Um, we've been taught it's behavior based, and this leads to us judging ourselves and others against unattainable or unrealistic standards. And we want to see ourselves as better perhaps, or see ourselves as more successful, because then we feel like we're progressing towards the ultimate reward. But our life is the reward, and our day to day is the precious experience. So when we understand that our thinking mind has been saturated with belief systems and rules and experiences, and that is the thinking mind is where we go first because of how we have been taught. We go there first to decide if we're going to trust or not, right? We jump into our thinking brain. So um, and then the thinking brain opens up the file cabinet of whatever family relationships and says you can't trust. Trusting brings a gross amount of pain. Trusting brings disappointment, and trusting, you can trust, maybe try a little bit, but you really better control and hold on, because the last files that I'm going through haven't been really great for you. So that's because we're living through our experiences, and we're living through our teachings, and we're not allowing those, the unconditional love that's here for us to soften us and remove those thoughts and habits. And so we're learning that through this class. So we're doing it, but I'm kind of recapping a little bit because we have new people all the time. So when we're looking at our life, and you see so much with social media now and stuff, that people are making a scene, they're making a tapestry, and they're taking photos in front of it, and they're selling this to people that this is their great life, and other people are looking at this and they're judging themselves and they're trying to create the same thing. All of this is through our brain. It has nothing to do with our life potential, has nothing to do with peace and joy, and it has nothing to do with unconditional love. So we're pulling back away from all of that and coming back into truth. And the truth is, that we're made of, steeped in, surrounded by unconditional love. Love is looking at us all the time. It is in the space between us and everything else. It is inside of us. It is flowing through us, right? So we're drops out of the eternal ocean. So that is the truth. So learning to begin to tap into the truth of love and unconditional love that's there for us, and not into our experiences and disappointments and all of that. I mean, I know when I had, you've all been through this journey with me, when I had, when Martin and I broke up and I found out he cheated, not blah, 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 and I left behind all of that stuff. I went through some periods of, like, I was really mad and I was disappointed and stuff. But inside my heart, it was like this voice was saying, you can have that for this much time, and then we're done. And it's time to move on, because this isn't your life, and you'll see, and already, this wasn't for you. This wasn't for you, or it wouldn't have happened. There's better for you. So I heard that, and I was like, okay, I'm allowed a little bit of time to be human, baby, or whatever, and then it's done. And I have to turn around inside of myself and be loving and forgive and let go, and not have this be a program in my life, right? So we're not trusting and surrendering and being in love so that we're robots, not living the human experience. It's the human experience, the tasks and obstacles in our path that bring out, it exposes the radiance from our eternal loving soul. It allows the diamond to emerge and all else to fall away. That life experience gives us wisdom. It taps us into a deeper, more powerful relationship, and it creates a unified thought process so that we know, none of us is living here and operating on our own. We're all affecting everybody around us with our energy and our life. So um, coming in to the silence and then deciding I'm going to surrender into my growth process. Like I said, I'm going to surrender into letting go of being really hurt and angry and being more an observer, seeing things how they really are, allowing my heart to speak to me. Because honestly, every single one of us, as we look back on experiences, we knew it wasn't going to end well, or we knew it wasn't for us. Somewhere in our heart, we knew it because our heart is true. And it is always knocking on the door, trying to get our attention. So when we spend time and we learn to have a conversation, and we learn to observe our life and say, what might be next for me? What do I really love to do? Then we begin to have an individual expanded vision of our life and the potentials for our life. And then, doors are allowed to open and people are allowed to come in. But if there isn't any room in our life because we're full of history, nobody likes to hang out in a library, not for fun anyway, and you got to be quiet in there and not be disturbing. And that's what we become. We become a library of our history, but we want to observe the history and move away from it. We're in a boat on the river of life, and we're going by and we're watching the shore, right? It's going by, we're going by. Our life is one of movement. So whatever it is, whatever practice we're doing, or, are we becoming deeply, more deeply and deeply unconditional in our loving? Are we becoming more expansive in our concept of we're all connected, and we're all united, and our actions matter and our energy matters? Whatever I'm feeling is going out into the space around me and connecting with energy all around me. And whatever our practice is, this is the fruit that we want to have coming out of it. Are we looking less at others and more at ourselves in a loving way? And then, are we feeling hopeful and excited about what's on the path for us? What's on the path in our evolution, the expansion of our heart, and the meditation practice, the quietness is all about getting to where we're hearing the voice of our high heart and the voice of the divine flowing through. And meditation creates the opportunity to move forward in life. It's like rolling the dice in a board game, and you got to move forward. The practice of trusting that what I hear is going to be good once I figure out all the stuff that is a program and needs to move out of the way, right? Then we begin to co-create. We begin to believe that the higher power has nothing but good and wonderful things for us, and the desires in our heart are seeds that were planted in the ground way before we came here, and that the pathway is going to be one that brings us into a deeper, richer, more powerful relationship, right? That's trust, right? And unconditional love is not performance based. If we never decided to grow and we decided to just live out our lives just like we are in this moment, the love would never stop. It would never be less. No one's loved more than another. It's all equal. So it doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to get more love. what we're going after is more connection, so that we can be more satisfied and more fruitful and more productive, and really begin to walk in the joy of life, and the joy of the expression of life more than we are now, because we don't need the bags, any of them. Even, all the history can be gone, and somebody can come into your life and irritate you, but that's your daily baggage. We don't need that either. We have to ask ourselves, is the emotion I'm feeling worth it? Like, why am I having any emotion about this at all? Why am I having any thought about this experience at all? That's negative, right? Because everything is about us moving forward in a really loving way. So we've learned to talked about being silent, and just understanding, what am I thinking? Okay, I don't need to think. I can be in my heart without thought, and begin to enjoy life without running by my brain all the time. And now the fruit that comes out of this time spent is more trust, less fear. More trust, less fear. And you're like, oh, I'm not fearful. Anger's fear. Like, all the negative emotions are fear in a different package, right? So trust is not fearing. It's knowing that we're deeply loved, we're taken care of. And when we begin to know that, then the door begins to open for the opportunities of expression of that in our lives. And I know a long time ago, and I can't show you because if I do something like that, they won't let me post my video. But if you take a plate and you put water on it or sand and you play music, it forms into like a snowflake shape or these really beautiful shapes. The material forms in to the energy that's in the music, right? And so when we come in and we're quiet and we begin to trust and we begin to soften into our heart, then the apparent nothing begins to become something. And the discourse and the like the off-key tuning of an orchestra begins to take a spectacular organization and begins to be a beautiful sound. And this is why we soften up, we get quiet, we begin to sift the negative thoughts out, the busyness. We begin to experience love in a really profound way within our own heart, which really kind of erases all kinds of the stuff that we would normally spend our thoughts on, because there wasn't room for us to notice the love that was in there before. So moving through silence and then into surrender. And if we're like, I don't want to surrender this negative feeling that I know I need to let go of, why not? Like, that's the why not? Because we don't believe that this person, we want this person to suffer. I don't know. Like, why don't we want to let it go? Why is forgiveness so hard? It really doesn't matter to the other person. It matters to us, right? Letting go of the need to hold on to small irritations or just habit thoughts or habit judging thoughts. We don't choose, like, I'm just going to surrender all these. I'm going to trust that I'm going to evolve and grow in love, that I don't need that anymore, that it will just go away. All of a sudden, I will be powerful, more powerful and more powerful in my neutrality and in the love that I am. So that is, I think that's my thoughts for today. All the peace, joy, love, guidance, is in us already. Access to it is there for us. Um, it's talking all the time. The universe is talking all the time. We're just learning to listen, and we're learning to really walk in it. And enlightenment is a team sport. We each become more enlightened about how beautiful we are and how beautiful life is and how loved we are, and that changes our energy. And when we get that, we look at people with love, and we look at people with um, an eye for their goodness, right? We don't look at people in a guarded way. We see um, your gift, your expression, your growth, your growth. One elevates the other. We don't become complete alone, but we are responsible for our portion of the great life that's here for us and fulfilling it. We're responsible for that. Um, so those are my thoughts for today. Moving a little farther down the road. If you have any comments or thoughts about it, or even about last week, if you tried some silence, it would be fun to hear how that went.
Yeah, I my biggest takeaway from right now is when you talked about the relationship and all that hurts us in life. I liked when you said that um, something talked to you, and it's a voice that told you that this is a set amount of time you have to ponder. I don't want to use the dwell word, but ponder on this and learn your lesson. Then you must forgive, forget, and move forward to the next phase, because it's like rolling a dice in a game, as you say. Moving forward, and the higher power has nothing but good planned for us. So um, we and I don't know how well, you have to get to that level where that voice has to talk to me too, but not there yet. And I feel as if the noise is just overpowering for me right now, and I need to keep doing what you're dearly teaching us, to keep quiet and subdue this noise. So that's what I got.
Thank you for sharing. Um,
Thank you.
the inner voice is always talking. It's always talking, and the inner voice was prodding me to to move away from the negativity, because as we've learned, we make brain connections, and then we get these brain connection loops running through our head if we stay in something too long, if we make something a habit, if we make dwelling on something a habit, then the brain's like, oh, this is a habit, let's make a program. So, and then we have to go through and change that. It's better just to nip it. um, Understand, and the lesson from that process for me, um, it wasn't it's an it was ongoing, but the I gained neutrality around it so that I could actually understand, um, without it being so personal, right? I had to get it more
Right.
into a neutral place with it to move um, into the greater lesson that I had created for myself. Because our life is us. Uh, we create our life day by day, moment by moment. Uh, we are doing it already. We're learning that we can have a more loving, fruitful, creative experience. We just haven't been taught how to access that. So, anyone else? So, if you get a chance, go on YouTube or uh, and just like search in there like water, uh, music vibration with water or sand, and you'll see some really amazing water comes to life to music and to the tones and vibrations. And it's a real powerful lesson because we are tones and vibrations. So we're either in tune and and beautiful music, or we're in discourse and it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. So so we are going to do a meditation, a love meditation. We're going to tap into the love that's in our heart, and that is really the answer to um, developing quietness, becoming connected with the awareness of the love that is in our heart already. We were born with it. We're all wired with it, and being in that energy, you will begin to feel lighter and more floaty, so to speak, more energized, and that's um, that is the energy. That's the voice. That's the voice, and we learn to be in the energy, and then we learn to discern the words. And it's everyone has a different conversation. I hear words. Some people get impressions, right? So it's don't be me, be you. But the love is speaking all the time to you. So anyway, we're going to move right into that unless somebody has something. Okay. So close your eyes.